Hello guys, welcome to my channel where I am obsessed with Hermione and everything fanfic. All I want to do today is talk about Hermione, and if you want to be here with me to celebrate Hermione during this Christmas season, please come along. I'm happy to have you here. Enemies to lovers. It is a trope in fiction where the individuals involved start off the relationship as enemies and then eventually turn into lovers. We've all seen it before. Belle and the Beast, Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy, Cat and Patrick. At least I know I've seen it all, and somehow Hermione still ranks on top. Also, check my gear because I spent so much money on this at Universal Studios, and I have only got to wear it one time. So today I'm using it for good reason. First, I must begin by explaining the basics of enemies to lovers. You, of course, have your enemies. I present Draco and Hermione. They hate each other. You could say that they quite possibly despise each other. We can discuss the name-calling, the punching, the war. I mean, honestly, you name it, the two have done it. With enemies comes tension, of course. The building tension rises slowly until it must reach the top. There, at the top, a beautiful golden line. This is the line that our enemies would never think about crossing, until they do. Sometimes the line crossing is ugly and messy and dramatic, but sometimes you can get sweet and cozy admissions of long-lived pining. This is the excitement of enemies to lovers trope. This is Draco and Hermione. I ask that we dive deeper into Draco Malfoy for a brisk moment. Draco is a pure-blood wizard born into the Malfoy family. The Malfoys are cunning and brooding and powerful. They are far more important than you. Draco was raised believing he was superior to everyone and everything. He's spoiled and he's mean, he's rude and he's vile. His muttering of mean names and snarky remarks earned him the villain title. Then you have Hermione. Miss Granger is the best friend of the Chosen One and their other best mate, Ronald Weasley. She's incredibly intelligent and proves that in a multitude of times throughout the series. This is important to the Hermione arc in the fact that Draco Malfoy is also one of the top in their class. In second year, Draco had even gotten in trouble with his father, Lucius, for having a lower grade than Hermione Granger, a Muggle-born. Thus, another piece of the enemies puzzle we've begun to create. Hermione Granger is the perfect student. She reads like a historian, devours schoolwork as if it's her meal, and likely is that one classmate that would remind the teacher the next day about the homework. She's a goody two-shoed teacher's pet, and everyone knows it. Even Draco Malfoy knows it. And Draco hates it. Hate is a strong emotion to feel. Especially so strongly within a person like Draco who avoids feelings at all. So then we must think about how Draco Malfoy, a man who refuses to feel, suddenly has feelings. Yes, they might be horrid, heinous, hateful feelings towards our Hermione, but we must remember the golden line. Because our beloved, hateful, spited Draco may just feel so much hate that his horrid, hateful, heinous feelings might just tip over into sexual desire. That excitingly brings us into the lovers portion of this essay. This is where we as humans diverge from canon. In the end, we're just greedy little humans who crave more. More being fanfiction. I can't spend too long speaking about fanfiction, or this essay will end up being as long as the freaking Bible, so let's just cut to the nitty-gritty of it all. Hermione fanfic is something special. I say this with 10 years of fanfic, writing and reading, under my belt, and while that still might not be an egregious amount, I still consider myself a viable source of opinion. I've read a mountain of fanfics, from a mountain of different ships. I've read great fanfiction and I've read bad fanfiction. I've read fluffy soft fics that made me sigh with happiness and make me feel sick with love. And I've read fanfics that would make a grown man weep at the smut-filled disaster of it all. Nothing has compared to what Hermione has given me. There's this endless cloud of delicious perfection on the other side of this enemies to lovers line. That golden line that splits right from wrong, from good from bad, that is why you read Hermione. I have never read art like I've read Hermione. There's an entire missed opportunity for canon to have redeemed Draco in such a way that Hermione could have fallen for him. We could have been joyously dancing in the rain, celebrating a happily ever after, where Hermione could live on to change the world with their endless banter and incredibly hot hate sex. Now we can't gather today and speak about Draco and Hermione and not speak about the recent influx of fans and content despite the series being over 10 years old. There's two routes that we are going to explore today in this essay. First, I present the Draco Talk pipeline. This TikTok community of fans grew wildly popular in September of 2021, causing a rampant spike in Draco Malfoy edits, thirst traps, fanfiction cosplays, and general attraction. We experienced everything from point of view videos, skits, lip syncs, and imagines. This was the first movement towards a rise in Hermione. More Draco fans meant more Draco fanfic readers. I feel safe to assume that most fans that originated on TikTok were partial to reader inserts or your name fics. But that never stops curiosity. An increase in Draco fans would also mean an increase in readers for Draimione or other popular ships like Drari. The second major event was more recent. Book talk has been on the rise for quite some time now, gaining momentum as it's introduced both young and older readers to the exciting world of erotic fantasy. It introduced so many people, in fact, that a subcategory split off, coining the name Spicy Talk. While the smut you can buy on the shelves at Barnes & Noble is quite tantalizing and pleasing to read, nothing quite compares to the 150,000 word fic with a Hosier lyric title that's written by someone whose first language is not even the written language. There are things, words, and actions, and things that you will not find on the shelves of Barnes & Noble. These are things and words and actions and things that will also make you blush and kick your feet. Or simply pale because you've never thought about using that in that kind of way or putting this in there. My point being that once you've read an abundance of books rated 5.0 on the TikTok creator spice scale, you begin to yearn for more descriptors, more action. And somehow, some way, we are brought to the introduction of Hermione to these unsuspecting book talkers. Yes. They were introduced to Manacled. Yes, Manacled. Right off the bat. I'm telling you from fan to fan, or viewer that I hope is enjoying a review from a fan, that these humans are diving face first into the most traumatizing fic without any pregame whatsoever. I'm saying that these people are skipping over the badly written Imagine on Wattpad. They're completely jumping over the fanfic.network that barely has any punctuation at all. I'm telling you that these beings are hurtling past all these well-written fluff pieces that give you cute butterflies in your stomach and a blush on your cheeks for Manacled. Side note for any viewers who cannot grasp the gravity of what I am saying. It is 370,000 words of pure gut-wrenching, stomach-turning, beautiful angst, and it hurts like a bitch. So of course the book talk girlies love it. So of course they fell for Draco and Hermione just as anyone would. So of course they've fallen into the deep, dark, long pit of Draimione fanfic just as we all have. That brings me to a point of what makes this trope so appealing. We've spoken about the trope and what it entails. We've talked about our two tokens, the emotionally blocked Draco Malfoy and the insufferable know-it-all Hermione Granger. We've even mumbled around an uptick of shippers that holds quite a relevance to sort of a Draimione resurgence. But here's the absolute bottom of the bucket. We can talk about Draco Malfoy's debonair, his regality, his manly, confident aura that attracts women to him. He's elegant and beautiful, described to have a sharp jawline and pointy features. Fans have since created different fan casts and ideas of their ideal Draco, including the likes of Tom Blythe from the recent Songbirds and Snakes movie, or a young Jude Law. Bad boys can be dangerous and wild, or mysterious and brooding. All four terms that describe Draco Malfoy. He's an intriguing character that's difficult to understand. You see a broken man beaten down by the world so bad that he refuses any sentiment and denies any closeness. Feminine desire wants to fix him. There's a feminine instinct towards a bad boy and wanting to somehow correct him. Could our sweet, routinely organized Hermione Granger finally be the one to tame the wildly egotistical, charming yet devastatingly vicious bad boy Draco Malfoy? Well, there's plenty of well-written fanfic out there that pursues that. Draco Malfoy doesn't only bring out the fix-it in women. The toxicity of the Slytherin boy does not end with just hoping to change his ways. Draco is obviously not the nicest bloke in the wizarding world. We all know that. He calls Hermione racist slurs and then continues to bully her for multiple books. He's meant to be a horrible character that you despised. Even she, who will not be named, said that Tom Felton's charmingness had been the reason for this. Draco Malfoy is obviously not ideal for a happy, healthy relationship. And I'll disclaimer it now that it's definitely not something you should seek out in a relationship. This ship is purely fictional and you should not base your ideologies with such toxicity. However, this does not stop our hearts from pounding and ears from burning from watching others do so. I feel so lame ending it like that, but that's what I have to do. I didn't write any more. He's a perfect example of a rich old money boy. A rich old money boy. But we must remember the golden rule.